Hi, I'm Wyatt Clatterbaugh, and welcome into episode 19 of Plead Your Case. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about opening day of baseball, some early predictions, followed by some sneaky playoff teams, and your 5 and 5 segment, as always. So stay tuned here on Plead Your Case.
Hey there, sports fans. You're watching another episode of Waynesburg University Community Television's only national sports debate show, Plead Your Case. Whether you're a diehard fan or a casual observer, get ready to join us every week as we dive deep into current pressing sports topics. Our panelists dissect every angle, every scenario, and every statistic to influence their fiery takes.
What has he done without Tom Brady?
And spirited arguments.
No, listen, Bowtie. Have you ever played Foursquare? No, you were too old to play Foursquare.
There will be no argument unexplored, and every take will be under review.
After reviewing a play...
Here in the Waynesburg University Communication Department, we believe in heated debates with a touch of friendly competition, which is why we also have a fresh 5 and 5 mini segment that you won't want to miss.
I don't think a pitcher is breaking Cy Young's wins record of 511.
You Google America's team and what do you get? You get the...
So sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious sports chat. It is time to plead your case.
Welcome into Plead Your Case. I'm Wyatt Clatterbaugh, and alongside me, Chase Maseko and Mark Grove on the main panel. So, boys, how you guys doing today?
Awesome. We're doing well.
Yeah, so we're going to go right into it. So we obviously know opening day of baseball starts on Thursday. I think we're all excited for it. I know you guys are hyped for it. I'm very, very excited for it. So I'm just going to go, even though opening day is on Thursday, I think it's a good time to do our way too early predictions of our MVPs and our Cy Youngs, but we'll start with the MVPs for the National League and the American League. So who do you guys got? And Mark, we'll start with you.
So for the National League, I will go with the one and only Juan Soto. And for the American League, arguably should have won it last year if Aaron Judge did not exist, the one and only Bobby Witt Jr.
I like it. What about you, Chase?
It's crazy. I have the exact same names down. I think specifically Bobby Witt Jr., I think he probably deserved it a little bit more than Judge last year, in my opinion. He's a true five-tool player. I think he's a guy we haven't seen since Mike Trout. High level at everything he does and super successful. Juan Soto is the best hitter on the planet, has the best bat-to-ball contact and just the best eye in general. So those are my two guys as well.
Yeah, and you guys might not agree with me on my National League MVP, but I have Elly De La Cruz.
Ooh.
And the reason I say Elly De La Cruz, this will be his first full year. I mean, he had his first full season last year.
Yeah.
This year, it's kind of his second year. Terry Francona, one of the better managers in all of MLB. Last season, De La Cruz scored 105 runs, had 160 hits, 25 home runs, 76 RBIs, had 67 stolen bases, a 259 average, and an OBP of 339. But I know the potential De La Cruz has. I know what he can do. And with a guy like Terry Francona and with a team around him, they bring in Jose Trevino from the New York Yankees. They gave him a big extension. You have Spencer Steer. You have Jeimer Candelario. They have weapons on this Reds team. So I like Elly De La Cruz, but obviously we know who Shohei Ohtani is. We know who Juan Soto is. So it's going to be kind of hard for Elly to do it, but he's kind of like my sleeper pick, so to speak, for this. And for the American League, you guys both talked about him. I mean, Bobby Witt Jr., one of the best players in baseball if Aaron Judge didn't exist. As Mark said, Bobby Witt last season scored 125 runs, had 211 hits, 32 home runs, 109 RBIs, had 31 stolen bases, a 332 average, had an OBP of 389, won a batting title, and had his second consecutive 30-for-30 season, and finished second in MVP voting last year. So it just shows you how big of a player Bobby Witt Jr. is for this Kansas City Royals team. Their pitching is one of the best in baseball. They brought in Jonathan India from the Reds. They have a bunch of key players. Salvador Perez, still one of the best overall players in baseball. And now, moving over to the Cy Young Award pitching side of things, who do you guys have for Cy Young for National League and American League? Chase, we'll start with you.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be, to start off with the American League, I have one of the two Mariners guys, either Logan Gilbert or George Kirby. These are two very young pitchers going into just their second and third seasons individually. For me, I lean towards Logan Gilbert. He's just an electric pitcher. The Mariners have been producing these amazing pitchers for as long as I can remember, guys like Felix Hernandez. So I think Logan Gilbert's going to be the next guy to come in and step up for them and win a Cy Young. And then for the National League, I got to go with my guy, Paul Skeens. Coming into his second year, if he stays healthy, I think he's going to be a guy who's going to break the strikeout record. He's so electric. The splinter, the fastball, he's been adding pitches this season with a regular sinker and a cutter. He's just doing everything it takes to be the most dominant pitcher in the world, and his work ethic is unmatched in Major League Baseball.
Mark?
So I'm going to lead off here with the NL because I do agree with Chase that Paul Skeens will run away with the NL Cy Young just because of how dominant he is. Yeah, maybe he'll be dreaming of Dodger blue here in the next few seasons, but right now he is probably one of the most electric pitchers, let's say, since Nolan Ryan. He can do it all. He has not just straight gas, but he has the off-speed pitches that rivals nobody. But for the American League, I was kind of thinking, I really liked your Mariners picks there because that didn't come right off the top of my head. But one of the guys that really cemented himself as an ace last year was Cole Reagans of the Kansas City Royals. I mean, really came from a no-name prospect in the Rangers organization, got traded away to the Royals. Excuse me, too many R's going around, but. Cole Reagans really cemented himself as that ace for a very young Royals team, which with Bobby Wood Jr. and Jonathan India looks to have a great year in that weak AL Central.
Yeah, I guess we all are on the same page when it comes to National League. For the National League, obviously it's as Chase and Mark said, Paul Skeens, one of the best pitchers, was 11-3 in 14 starts last season, had a 1.96 ERA and 170 strikeouts. The dude was absolutely electrifying, was one of, I believe, 3 rookies to start in an All-Star game last year, got called up very, very early into the season, so one of the best pitchers. And then for the American League side, I have a unique one. Tariq Skubal of the Detroit Tigers. He was 18-4 in 22 starts last season, had a 2.39 ERA and 228 strikeouts. One of the better pitchers for the Tigers, and a big reason the Tigers were able to make that push late in the season to make the playoffs last year. So definitely look out for those two this season. Going to be some of the top pitchers in baseball. But moving over to kind of like the playoff side of things. We saw a good amount of playoffs. Obviously, the Dodgers ended up winning it all last season against the Yankees in 6 games. But what teams do you guys see kind of making maybe a sneaky run, sliding into the playoffs, maybe even if it's winning their division or if it's being a wild card team? Who do you guys see? And Mark, I'll start with you.
So I've been banging on the Royals drum all this time. But I think they're going to win the AL Central, them, and the Guardians are going to be battling all year. But I want to say an honorable mention, not a team that might make the playoffs, could be a sneaky wild card team. The former Oakland Athletics, now kind of the Sacramento, Las Vegas Athletics. But they actually, now that they moved, they felt inclined to really spend money now. So it'll be interesting to see all that up-and-coming talent, like a guy like Lawrence Butler, who is an electric player who they got an extension. You still got Brent Rooker there, Shea Langoliers, and the Athletics. I almost keep calling them the Oakland Athletics, but they look to be a sneaky team. But for the NL, I'm gonna say the Cincinnati Reds. With Terry Francona's injury history, I don't think he would have come back for any bum team and just lost a whole bunch of games. I think he sees something in that Reds organization, which he said, okay, kind of like the Bruce Bochy situation a couple years ago with the Texas Rangers. Granted, I don't know if the Reds are going to win a World Series like the Rangers did, but you got guys like a Gavin Lux who injuries had really riddled his career when he was with the Dodgers. I think he could really do something now that the Reds got off of Jonathan India, and Lux will be playing most of his reps at second base. I mean, you got Ellie De La Cruz, which I agree with Wyatt. That is a sneaky boomer bust MVP. I mean, this is a year Ellie De La Cruz really has to put it all together. Now he has a really competent and Hall of Fame manager. So in the NL side, I'm taking the Reds to make the wild card.
Yeah, as far as I'm going, I'm not going with quite a sneaky team, but it was a team that underperformed last year, and for me, it's the Texas Rangers. 2 years ago, we saw them in the World Series against the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they kind of just destroyed the Diamondbacks. But last season, Jacob deGrom got hurt, as it seems always happens these days. And I think with former MVPs Corey Seager and Marcus Semien, this team can get right back into that World Series hunt. Jacob deGrom is back. He is healthy. If he stays healthy, he's going to be that Cy Young pitcher we always see, because that's what he always does. So as long as this Rangers team can stay healthy, they have Adolis Garcia, who's just a monster, but with the bat in his hands, this Texas Rangers team is going to be right back in that playoff hunt, especially with the Astros moving away from some of their pieces, losing Alex Bregman. The Athletics, I like that pick, Mark. They're getting better. I think the Rangers have a very winnable shot at taking the division and making a run in the World Series.
Yeah, I liked everything you both said, and I agree with it. I think for the American League, it's going to be between the Athletics, Mariners, and Twins, and for the National League, it's going to be between the Reds, Cubs, and Diamondbacks. But I want to get your guys' final thoughts. Just maybe, what are you expecting from the Pirates maybe for opening day, and what are you most excited for opening day on Thursday, as most teams will be playing on Thursday? And Chase, we'll start with you.
Yeah, this Pittsburgh Pirates season, it's kind of, we say it every year, but it really is make or break. You have Paul Skeens. Jared Jones we assume at this point he's starting on the injured list. It's such a deep pitching staff that they're going to be able to provide a solid core for this ball club. It all comes back to the offense. First year hitting coach Matt Haig, it's all on him to see if we can see improvements out of Jack Sawinski, out of Henry Davis. Endy Rodriguez taking the next step in his return from his Tommy John surgery. If the Pirates offense can step forward and the pitching staff can stay how we know they are, then this Pirates team could make a run to the wild card. I hope they do. It's just whether or not all the pieces finally come together and the Pirates fans' hopes and dreams can finally be realized.
Mark?
With those hopes and dreams, I think they will not come true. I think the Pirates will win 74 games because, I'm excited for the MLB to be back. Baseball is my favorite sport, and I love the game of baseball, but the constant hurt the Pirates have put me through for the past 10 years, and starting guys like Adam Frazier, who batted 171 in spring training, trotting him out on the opening day roster. It's I guess he's a fan favorite, but you had so many guys like Matt Gorski, who's toiled in the minors and deserves a shot. But I'm glad that baseball is going to be back, but I just kind of given up hope on the Pirates because year after year, they refuse to spend, and they really don't. They have young players, but they don't bring them up unless they're say a Paul Skeens or rushed them like Henry Davis, because I think they should have had Bubba Chandler on the opening day roster and Thomas Harrington, but they're rolling with Andrew the Heen Dog Heaney and Carmen Majinski as your 4 and 5 starters, where you have two guys in Chandler and Harrington that could really put this rotation, which has been a strength here this past year, and just kind of put them over the top, but it's just,
Yeah, as for me, I'm a Nats fan, so I'm just hoping we have a better season than last year. But as you guys mentioned, Pirates, I think they have an opportunity. They have the pitching. Can their batting get them over the hump? That's going to have to be something that we find out as the season opens. But the season will open on Thursday. But that's going to do it for this first segment. Don't go anywhere. We'll be with Ryan Martin and Michael McKenzie with the 5 and 5 segment right here on Plead Your Case. Hello and welcome into episode 19 of Plead Your Case. I'm Wyatt Clatterball. Alongside me, Ryan Martin and Michael McKenzie for the 5 and 5 segment. Boys, how are we doing today?
Feeling great.
Doing awesome.
So you guys know how this goes. You're going to have 30 seconds. I'm going to read you there's 5 questions. You guys each have 30 seconds to plead your case, and I will tally it up afterwards and see who wins the round. Michael McKenzie, I know you're looking to keep your streak going. Ryan Martin trying to end that streak. So you ready, boys?
Yes, I am.
Always.
All right.
Let's do it.
So first question, and I'll throw it to Michael McKenzie first. We know the upsets are what make March Madness so exciting. What is a potential upset to look out for here in the Sweet 16?
I'm going to go with Arizona over Duke, 8.5 point spread right now. They have the size in the front court with Vasar and Awaka to really give Cooper Flagg and Malik Brown some trouble. And then obviously Arizona has the guards, specifically Caleb Love, who always comes to play when he plays against Duke. 2 wins at Cameron Indoor, 1 with North Carolina, 1 with Arizona, and then we all know what he did in the Final Four 3 years ago. So he could really give Duke some trouble. Biggest point spread of any game. I'm looking at Arizona to give Duke a little bit of trouble. That could be an upset.
Perfect. Right on time. All right. Ready?
Yep.
Go ahead, Martin.
All right, for my upset, I'm going Arkansas over Texas Tech. Main reason why is a great coaching in John Calipari. He just came over from Kentucky. All right, he already beat Kansas, the number 7 seed, who was, I think, originally the number 1 seed in preseason polls. They went on to beat St. John's with another great coach of all time, one of the best coaches, college coaches of all time, Rick Pitino. Excuse me if I missed that last name, but I'm taking them over Texas Tech to win and go to the Elite 8.
Time. All right. That was a good round. Good first round, boys. I like it. Martin, we're going to start with you on this next one.
All
so
right.
Should the tournament expand beyond 68 teams?
I think it should stay the same it is, all right? I like the 68 teams. It is a perfect balance for teams to get in. You know, the 16 seed and the 1 seed. This year there hasn't been too many 1 seed, 2 seed upsets, which is kind of disappointing. But you look at other years and it's been perfect, all right? We see the number 1 seed fall to some random non-noble college, and it's just amazing to see. And that's where you get the Cinderella stories. I don't think there's any point in really increasing the number.
All right. Go ahead, Mike.
I agree. I don't think it should be touched. The 64-68, the 68-team format, 64 teams in the first round, that's absolutely perfect. I don't think this tournament should be touched at all, especially you look at the bubble this year, the last few teams that got at-large selections. In normal years, they're not getting in at-large. You look at Texas, you look at Xavier, you look at North Carolina. In normal years, they shouldn't have gotten in. I still don't think they should have gotten in this year, but the teams behind them didn't have much of an argument either. I don't think you should open it up to allow more teams into the tournament to try to piggyback off of past success with upsets. I just don't think it's going to work.
All right. Good stuff, boys. Next one, and we'll start with Mackenzie again.
This is the one we want.
This is the one.
This is the one they've been anticipating, so I'm very excited about this one. Which NFL franchise is better, the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Baltimore Ravens?
It has to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've been around longer. They've got more tradition. They've won more. 6 Super Bowl championships to Baltimore's 2. I think the only good thing Baltimore has done is given Pittsburgh a good rival and take football away from Cleveland temporarily. Unfortunately, we didn't learn our lesson, gave football back to Cleveland, and it still exists. But they originally did the good thing in taking football away from Cleveland. But the Baltimore Ravens, they're not really their own franchise. They stole the franchise from Cleveland. Pittsburgh, it's been Pittsburgh. It's been the Steelers. It was the Pirates originally, but now it's the Steelers.
All right, Martin, go ahead.
Okay, well, first of all, he's saying 6 Super Bowls. 4 of them were before the Ravens were even a team. They're an expansion franchise. They didn't steal anything. Okay, they've been pretty evenly matched in the past, going from all-time record. But if you say, look at the teams now, in the past maybe 10 years, they haven't gotten a win since 2016 in the playoffs. How is that good? And to quote somebody, a reliable Steeler fan, by the way, they have not had a good quarterback since 2016. That's how bad they are at drafting these guys and developing them.
Reliable is a strong word.
Reliable. Very reliable.
Is a strong word. That might
very
be the
reliable
only time you've
Steeler
ever
fan.
Called this person reliable.
He is very reliable.
That was a good argument. Good battle.
It was also
Martin, we're starting with you on this one. Does weather affect opening day than any other part of the MLB season?
I'm going to have to say no on this one. Okay, I get that it's really cold at the start of the spring. Okay, you might get some 30-degree weather games, and that can make it really hard to, if you make bad contact with the bat, that could shatter your hands. I felt it firsthand in the spring, early spring in high school ball. So I can't imagine how it feels for the MLB players, but I don't think that there's any coincidence that on opening day it's worse weather than any of the other days. It could be raining or something.
Perfect. All right, Mike.
In cold weather, pitchers naturally have less control. Home runs are rarer. The ball, like you said, Martin, it stings off the bat, and balls hit and play, even when you get a bat on it, are less likely to result in base hits. That's cold weather statistics. So obviously when the weather's cold, it's tougher to play. Now the question is it tougher in April or October? Because those are both relatively cold months for baseball. I'm going with April because you're just coming off of a month in beautiful sunny Florida for spring training, or Arizona, depending on where you're playing. Now you go to cold weather situations. When is October, you're getting used to it with the September month into it.
Good art. You're making it difficult for me, boys. I like it. You're making it very, very difficult. I do like it. Final question. Who is the best quarterback in this year's draft? And Martin, we'll start with you.
I'm going to go Jalen Milroe. All right, this is really unpopular, but when you see his speed and his arm strength, he has the speed of Lamar Jackson. He just ran like a 4.34, I think, and the arm strength of Josh Allen. If I know his accuracy is not that good, but if you get him with a good team that can develop him over maybe a year or two and have him benched like Jordan Love was. Jordan Love wasn't the greatest prospect coming out of college, but they developed him. If you can get him on a good team with a solid coaching staff, he can be great in this league.
All right, Mike, go ahead.
The easy answer is Shedeur Sanders, but I'm not going Shedeur Sanders. I'm going with Will Howard from the Ohio State Buckeyes. I'm going to go bold here. He's got the dual threat athleticism that you look for in an NFL quarterback nowadays. He just played for one of the top NFL quarterback developers in college football in Ryan Day. Look at his recent track record. He's developing NFL caliber quarterbacks. He's got great deep ball accuracy, showcased that in the college football playoff. He can fit the ball into tight windows, showed that in the second half of the season, get through reads, and also showed the ability to create off-schedule plays. Those are all things you're looking for in an NFL quarterback in today's day and age. That's why I'm going with Will Howard.
All right, boys.
Will Howard.
Will Howard.
That's a
first
interesting pick.
I'll go through each question one at a time and kind of go over my decision making for it. So the first one we had was our upsets, or what is a potential upset to look out for in the Sweet 16. I went with Ryan Martin here. I liked his thing. Obviously, Arkansas, currently the only double-digit seeded team in the tournament as of right now, so I liked Martin's thought about it, but I did like your battle with it as well, Michael McKenzie. The next one, should the tournament expand beyond 68 teams? Michael McKenzie tied it up. He gave some great points about it, keeping it at 68 teams and not changing it whatsoever. I like that. This one was where it kind of was.
It's the ball knowledge.
Yeah, this one was exactly how I expected it to go. It was which franchise is better, the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Baltimore Ravens. Martin, I'm sorry, I gave that one to Michael McKenzie.
Wyatt Clatterbaugh knows ball.
The Steelers are historically better, while the Ravens are one of the best.
Historically,
that's the question. That's literally the question.
Come on.
While the Steelers have been one of the better teams as of now and as of recently, the Steelers are the better team overall and in the history, so I gave that to him.
Before you move on, I do want to say I agree with Ryan Martin that since like
1995.
I don't probably since 2016 when the Steelers last won a playoff game, the Ravens have been leaps and bounds better.
Oh, absolutely.
But the question was all time.
Yeah, and that's why I gave the edge over to you because the Steelers all time have been better. But as of recently, it has been the Baltimore Ravens. Now does weather affect opening day than any other part of the season in the MLB? I gave that one to Martin. You both gave great points. I liked Martin's talking about kind of just when you hit the ball that it came off the hands a little worse. Nothing worse than hitting the ball in cold weather, as we all know. I think we all played baseball at one point in our lives. So hitting a ball like that and your hands are ringing from just the coldness of the weather. So I gave that one to Ryan Martin. So it all came down to who is the best quarterback in this year's draft. And your winner of this round Michael McKenzie. I loved the Jalen Milroe take. I
was a
loved
good game.
I
It was a
loved
great
the
battle.
Will Howard take. I like the Will Howard take just a little bit more. Talking about him, I know now it kind of looks like he is a system quarterback because he did go to Ohio State, transferred from Kansas State. But I think he will go higher than Jalen Milroe in the draft. I also put that into perspective. But I loved your points about that, Ryan Martin. But Michael McKenzie going to come out with the win in this battle. That's going to do it for those guys.
Sold.
So, yeah,
We'll see you
absolutely.
next week.
Yeah, so that's going to do it for those guys, and that's going to do it for the 5 and 5 segment. But don't go anywhere. Mark Grove and Chase Maseko will be joining me here on the panel for our main segments here on Plead Your Case.
Gotcha.
Fading up to Tyler and Mia in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Mia Hinkins.
And I'm Tyler Aaron, and welcome
to Jacket Sports Weekly.
Welcome back into Plead Your Case. And boys, it's that time of the month again. It's March Madness, baby.
Oh, yeah.
So March Madness already kicked off. We are already, believe it or not, in the Sweet 16. Something that I never thought was going to happen this quick. But one of the biggest shocks is Arkansas shocked the world, beating St. John's 75-66 to advance to the Sweet 16. They are the only double-digit seed left in the tournament. So, guys, what are your thoughts on maybe that game and just Arkansas as a whole being a team that I think nobody expected to be in the Sweet 16? Chase, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think John Calipari led this Arkansas team to a great showing versus St. John's. I watched another game earlier in the regular season when Cap returned to play Kentucky, and in that game we saw Arkansas play some great defense, and we saw that once again when they played St. John's. I think any team with John Calipari coaching on the sidelines has a chance in March Madness, so I wouldn't even be shocked if the Razorbacks continue pushing forward into the Elite Eight, even into the top four, maybe even a Cinderella championship run. It's not the usual Cinderella run we see, but it's the one we're getting this season.
Yeah, I have to agree with Chase, like with John Calipari. Like Arkansas, even though they're like a 10 seed, they're not your traditional Cinderella story, but just they're just playing lights out basketball. And I mean, they could go toe to toe with Florida in that Final Four there, but I think Arkansas is a sneaky team to really make the championship team. Would I bet all my money on it? No. But, I mean, it's fun to dream, and it's probably fun for those guys that really a couple years ago, Arkansas basketball really wasn't thought of much, and you get a historic coach in John Calipari, which Arkansas fans and players got to play twice a year whenever he was at Kentucky, when both being in the SEC. But I think Arkansas, that is a good storyline, even though it's not like the true Cinderella like UMBC a couple years ago.
Yeah, I know for me, I definitely didn't expect Arkansas to be in the Sweet 16, much less even get out of the first round. But they will be facing off against number 3 Texas Tech. Just to go over some of the games that will be happening, BYU will be taking on Alabama. BYU is another team that really kind of shocked the world. They're a 6 seed taking on the 2 seed Alabama. Maryland will be taking on probably the best team in the tournament, the Florida Gators. Arizona will be taking on Duke. Arkansas will be taking on Texas Tech. Ole Miss will take on Michigan State. Kentucky will face Tennessee. Michigan will play Auburn, and Purdue will play Houston. I know for my bracket, personally, it's pretty cooked except for probably what's going to be the Final Four in Auburn, Houston, Florida State, and Duke. But, boys, I want to know your thoughts. Is there any upsets you see here? I know, obviously, we talked about Arkansas, but Ole Miss being a 6 seed playing Michigan State, who's a 2, and Purdue being a 4 seed playing Houston, who's a 1. Is there any team you can see out of those teams? Do you see a shocking win? Do you think they just get blown out? What are your guys' thoughts? And Mark, we'll start with you.
An interesting one is I didn't pick them in my bracket to advance past the round of 32, but it's going to be the BYU. I think, even though I think they're going to lose to Alabama, but I think that they'll keep Alabama on the ropes the whole game. I think it'll become down to the wire, a classic barn burner, some would say. But I think BYU their sports have really risen up whenever they came over from being independent, going over to the Big 12. I think it really helped their program, and you see it now. You had BYU here making a good run in the NCAA tournament, even though it's sadly going to come to an end. But I think BYU is really going to show some heart and kind of scare Alabama a little bit.
Yeah, for me, it's actually kind of a shocking one. Arizona versus Duke. I don't think the Wildcats are going to complete the upset, but I think they're going to be more competitive than you may think. Caleb Love, played in the 2022 March Madness game where he dropped 28 against the Blue Devils back when he played for UNC. And in the last game, he dropped 29 to get past Oregon in the round of 32. So I think if Caleb Love is having a great game and Cooper Flagg is having a kind of off day, this Wildcat team might be able to make some magic happen and pull up a ginormous upset.
Yeah, I completely agree with both of your takes. For me, I have Maryland and Florida. Now, do I think Maryland's going to beat Florida? Absolutely not. Florida has been one of the best teams in basketball this season and in college basketball this season. But the Terrapins, they're here for a reason. They have been one of the better teams. They've been hot as of late, too. So don't be surprised if the Maryland Terrapins do give Florida a little bit of an issue. But I want to go back to what you said, Chase. You talk about Duke. Cooper Flagg been one of the best players in college basketball. They're playing Arizona on unfortunately losing one of their top players in Malik Brown, transferred from Syracuse last year at Duke. He has a season-ending shoulder injury. Funny enough, he's from my hometown. But what do you see Duke? They've been here before. Duke has been in this situation before. They haven't won a national championship since 2017, so it's been a while since they've been back in the big dance. What do you think is one thing they have to do to get back into the Final Four or into the big dance? And Chase, we'll start with you.
Yeah, even though I said the Wildcats of Arizona were going to have a good chance in this game versus Duke, Duke's still obviously the favorite, and they've won the last 13 straight games. They've won 29 out of 30. So if Duke just sticks to playing their style of basketball, doesn't let Arizona fluster them in the game, then Duke's going to cruise to a win and a potential national title. I don't see any other team in this tournament that has kind of the wow factor that this Duke team has with Cooper Flagg heading the team.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. Duke just has their style of basketball, but the only team that I see that can kind of upset Duke is the Florida Gators. I did pick the Florida Gators to beat the Duke Blue Devils in the national championship, but I just remember Duke being a high-flying team, and they still are, without Coach K there, but a couple years ago with Zion just flying around, tomahawk dunking. But, I mean, Duke, it's been kind of weird for them flaming out in the tournament these past couple years, but with Cooper Flagg, even though he did have an injury in the ACC tournament going into the big dance here in March Madness, but I think if Cooper Flagg can play his better games and not be cold, I think Duke has a more than better chance to beat anyone in the tournament except the Florida Gators.
I think you hit it nail in the coffin right there, nail on the head perfectly. I think this Duke team, we know what Cooper Flagg is. We know what this Duke team has been all season. I don't think they have any problem with Arizona, the Wildcats. And the only team, as Mark Grove mentioned, that I see giving them trouble is Florida. The Gators have been, as I mentioned, one of the best teams in the tournament and in basketball this season. So it's going to be definitely interesting to see what happens in the Sweet 16. We talked about the upsets and everything, but boys, just as one little final thing, I'm going to run through each game. Just tell me who you got winning and why really quickly. So first game I have on here, BYU, Alabama. Mark, we'll start with you. Who you got winning and why?
I got Alabama. I just think they're the better overall team. I think they come from a superior conference in the SEC, but Alabama's been good at basketball here for the past 5 years, so I think they advance.
Yeah, I have Alabama as well. Just a better shooting team overall. I think this will be a nice offensive output from the Crimson Tide.
Roll Tide, baby. I got Alabama winning this one. As much as I like BYU, I've loved the run they've been on this year, and I love that they're in the Sweet 16. I think their magical run comes to an end and falls just short to the Alabama Crimson Tide. The next team I have, the Maryland Terrapins versus, I think, our favorites, and I already know where I think this one's going, but versus the Florida Gators. Chase, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's Florida here. I don't think Maryland has a chance in this game. Florida's just been the dominant team in all of college basketball this season, and it's going to take a miracle for Maryland to take this game.
Yeah, I mean, Maryland was on the ropes against a dog of the day team in the Colorado State Rams, but I mean, Florida, they're going to beat the Terrapins by 20-25. I mean, this is going to be easy peasy game for the Florida Gators, and they can go to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, as Mark did, the Gators. Give me the Gators here in this one. As much as Maryland is probably going to give them a little bit of a fight, I kind of agree with what Mark said. It's going to be more of a 25 to 20 point lead for this Florida Gators team. Next up, and I'm kind of intrigued to see, I know Chase was kind of talking about Arizona and the Wildcats giving them a run, but we got Arizona versus Duke. Chase, who you got?
Yeah, I said Arizona has a chance with an upset, but it's still got to be Duke and Cooper Flagg. Cooper Flagg going to be the #1 overall pick in the NBA draft. It's just another year where Duke is a favorite, and as long as they don't choke this opportunity away, it's going to be a nice little run into the national championship for them.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Duke. I mean, you can't really lose whenever you got the #1 overall player in the upcoming draft on your team. I mean, it's no excuses for Duke. They really can't lose this game. I mean, they have them beaten most every statistical category, so I'm taking the Blue Devils.
And boys, the final question I have for you guys, who do you got in your championship game, and who do you have winning the championship and winning the 2025 March Madness tournament? And I'll start with you, Chase.
Yeah, so I have Florida coming from that left side of the bracket, but on my right side, I have Houston, a team we haven't really hit on today. Houston, 9 consecutive Sweet 16 trips. They continue today. Houston has been a 1 seed the past couple of years, high seeds every time, and we haven't seen them make that jump into winning a championship recently. So I think this is the year that they put it all together. It's a great shooting team, great defensively as well. I think they're going to kind of be that shock #1 seed that makes a run to the championship and wins it.
I mean, that Houston take is very, very interesting. I mean, they have been one of the big contenders in March Madness here going on a couple years. But as I said previously, I have the Duke Blue Devils with Cooper Flagg, and then I have the Florida Gators. I just think it's going to be an all-time clash of a matchup in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. But I do think Florida is the best team in college basketball. They have been playing like it for the whole season. But I think it's going to be tough for anybody to beat, even Duke, a blue blood basketball school, to beat the Florida Gators.
Yeah, I'm going to go with what Mark Grove said. As much as I like the Houston take, and I think that's a great take, Chase, I have Duke and Florida in the finals. Both have been the best two teams in the NCAA tournament and just in college basketball as a whole this season. I don't see anything different. I think they're the two teams to beat in this tournament. So definitely I see them winning. And in my bracket, and I'm going to stick with it, I have the Gators winning. I think the Gators just barely edge out the Blue Devils. I think Cooper Flagg does all he can, but it's just not enough with that well-rounded Florida basketball team, and I got the Gators winning the 2025 March Madness tournament. But that's going to do it for things here for PYC. For Mark Grove, Chase Maseko, I'm Wyatt Clatterball. Thank you to everybody in the back and in the studio. You can watch PYC on WCTV and more content on WCTV as well. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Plead Your Case.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.